Just pass it forward there again. You gotta sign it again there, Richard. You signed it.
Yes, I think we did.
Yeah, I think you'll have to re-sign it too, so.
I memorized my name.
The spelling?
Okay, welcome to the, September's Aero Club Safety Meeting. I think I got that right. For you guys that are advisors, there's a place on that sign-in sheet right on the upper left-hand corner on the front page for you to sign there. So, for you advisors that are in here. Okay, I'm Roger Mann. I'm the safety officer for the Aero Club, and you got Bob Pierce over here, who's the manager. And let's see, we got several of our instructors in here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We got John Law over here, and we got Jerry Rowland, and we had, let's see, and then we got Fred Zolt. There you are. I couldn't find you. Fred, and we got Jay. And then we used to have an old instructor, he was in here somewhere, Steve Fitch, yeah, there he is, yeah. Old instructor, very old, he hasn't been one for a while, but I wish he would come back, but anyhow. And I think that's it. Okay, we usually do a routine here when we do the safety meetings, and one of those is new people that have joined the club recently, or you're going to join the club, or you haven't been around for a while. And I see a lot of those faces too. But we got some people in here who've not been here before, I think, and I believe you're, go ahead and stand up and introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Sean, and student at UC Riverside. Currently
Okay,
working on my private pilots, and hopefully I'll get that fairly soon.
Yeah, okay. Welcome to the club. Hey, anybody else that's new?
Not new, but
No, I haven't been around for a while, but you haven't been around for a while, I know. And you're coming, that's why I made you do the safety meeting tonight. That's what happens if you don't come around for a while, I make you do the safety meeting. Okay, anybody else, let's see.
I'm newer. I haven't met most of you guys on my console. And
Yeah.
17 guys on safety.
Yeah. And Mike is, yeah, you're newer. You've been in for a little bit. But,
I've been in for 6 months.
you haven't been here, yeah. Yeah, and welcome. Okay, let's see, anybody else I want to do? All right, the other thing that we talk about a little bit is, has anybody here just recently done either soloed for the first time, got their license taken away? This includes Air Force. This isn't just only Aero Club. This can include the C-17. If you've done something there that's a milestone, you can share it with people here. And I know we've had some people here that, let's see, Kevin, stand up. Tell them what you've been doing.
Finally getting checked out in T-34. Thanks to Fred for the ground school and Jay for the flight. I got about 6 hours underneath me right now, so almost there.
Good. All right. All right. And Mike, anything famous going on?
myself.
You did what?
well, that's a milestone.
That is a milestone.
Hey, by the way, Malcolm, thanks for the flyover with the smoke.
Oh, yeah.
Over the picnic.
Oh, we blew smoke on that picnic, oh, that was, we really laid it on.
McCoy thought that was neat.
Oh, yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, McCoy did. And the commander, base commander says, I want to see 4 of those guys doing it next time. That's what he told me, so
That's
he's,
what you like to see, yeah.
yeah.
Trouble is, we're losing them in about a month, though, so. Mike, did you have anything that you needed, anything big? Bill? Anything?
I will tell you something that, as a proud father, that those of you that met my daughter here a while back,
Yeah.
she beast soloed 3 weeks ago down in Hayward. She took her first flight.
Okay.
So watch your airways. It's going to be dangerous.
Yeah.
She looks good looking like her mother, but has her father's shitty disposition. So,
Yeah. You could
Yeah.
have brought her to the Aero Club to give her lessons.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Now, and Hayward's up there, not down there.
way
Yeah.
up there.
Okay.
Well, she'll be back.
Okay.
I recently did my first form flight with 34, so
Okay.
always looking for guys who's already got it down to help me. And
Oh, yeah.
finally went out over the lake. So
Okay.
it was, me, John Reed, and Ward Massey.
Okay. All right.
They're good.
Okay, good. Very good. All right. Next subject is incidences or anything, stories that you need to tell. George always has a story. I know Jay's got stories too, but he doesn't always tell them. But anybody have anything to share with the rest of the club on anything that's taken place? You know, you almost crashed an airplane.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I knew that would get Ken.
Well, I ran out of electrons last week. Coming in, the alternator ate itself, I guess, in one of the Charlies, Tetherboro Charlies. And realized it when the tower kept talking to me and they weren't hearing me come back. And the flaps weren't going down, so I figured, okay, so I got a power issue. And the next thing tower says is, well, if you can hear us, flash your lights. It's like, maybe not. So, but got in safe, no problem. But it was a thing.
So, tell them what you did do. Did you just?
Oh yeah, no. Coming in, once I realized that was the problem, and after they last time they called me and told me to turn my lights on, I shut my power off and just shut off the battery and just went ahead and landed and called them on my handheld once I got on the ground. So fortunately, it all happened right here in the pattern. Didn't have to go far.
Which phone were
3-0. Yeah.
You did the green light and all that from the tower, rock wings?
No, well, yeah. When they told me to flash my lights, I rocked my wings instead. So and then I turned my radio off. So I was going to land anyways.
Yeah.
A really close, tight circle around the tower until they flashed.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. George, any exciting stories of? George is he's a manager of Fallbrook, isn't it? And he has always things going on.
And Ramona Saturday took off from Mount Laguna and got lost from some other glider guys that was with him and ended up coming down at Ramona. But the good thing for me, he was just off the airport property. The tower saw him circling around out there. They knew who he was because all he had was a UHF radio.
Huh.
No injuries, nobody injured, but he stayed down there a few hours waiting for somebody to come in, but nobody got hurt.
I do have something. I remember. Yeah, good remind me. You said a near air collision. Had to follow the appropriate form. Take it off at a Ramstein. Out of there in a C-17, full, just max gross takeoff weight, so as fixed as can be.
Yeah.
Establishing the radio, right after we clean up the airplane, blot the flaps, slats up, start running that takeoff checklist. Co-pilot's heads down, run the checklist, guys behind me look up the left window, into the HUD, the autopilot hooked up to all sides, I see something. You know, it takes a while to recognize there's something there. So what the heck am I looking at? A bug on the screen, whatever it is. And so I recognize it's the T-tail of a sailplane. And it's basically on tail on. So you can imagine when we're doing 265 knots, how fast the sailplane's moving, coming tail on it. It's enough to scare the juice off anybody. So punch up, just hard, or you just hit the autopilot, now the throttle's off. You just push the airplane off to the right and down, just keep from hitting. Just basically when he's this, and I push down below, and just slightly below him, about 500 feet off to the side if it went by. And nothing on TCAS. He wasn't squawking anything. He wasn't talking to anybody.
Probably.
You know, we did the Air Force safety investigation. The guy came back from Ramstein and says, everybody's doing what they're supposed to be. You know, we're IFR clearance. We're coming up to the cloud. Actually, we're right below the cloud deck, so we're probably about 500 feet below the cloud deck. Quite sailplane below, quite puffy clouds kind of thing. It's hard to see.
Wow.
But it's in classy airspace. He had no requirement to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
No requirements to squawk. This is in Germany. There are requirements out there. So everybody's doing everything perfectly, but it's dumb as it can be. You know, just because you're legal doesn't mean you're doing something smart.
That you're doing it, yeah, no kidding. It is so vital, and as traffic and just like what Bill was telling, you know, we're getting more and more of these things taking place everywhere, and it's the diligence of keeping your eyes open. That's why I like to carry somebody with me, you know. Because, you know, of course, you know, here you were in a C-17 multi-combat crew, but yet, you know, out of the corner of your eye, you see it because you didn't expect to see that, you know. And we here, you know, we have the jumpers here at Paris, you know, and we had that problem. We had that happen when I was coming in on 141, and we were coming in on the glide path, you know, and everything, and here comes this parachute right across the glide path. I'm like, what the thing? So, you know, it's one of those things to be very, very aware of. Jerry?
I only tell the story because it's the same make and model that we've got out on the ramp sooner or later with the 182. Taken off out of Hemet with another former club member, Stu Oster, who some of you may remember, retired American pilot. And when he and I fly together, we do very thorough briefs before we lift off. We know what altitude we're coming back to the airfield or we're going to turn down, straight ahead, and all that sort of thing. 300 to 350 feet, we got a bang. And the engine obviously was not developing full power, 5/6 maybe full power. And we weren't climbing, but we weren't descending all that good. We're talking about, you know, across taxiway landings and all that stuff. Got up to 400 feet and actually got back on the runway. What had happened was the head on the cylinder had actually come off about 3 threads, and it didn't leave the airplane, apparently because the exhaust manifold kept it on. It was, you know, vibrating significantly, as you might expect. And I guess the bottom line is, you know, when you take off, expect the engine to go.
Yeah.
And, you know, we flew it just like we briefed it. And
That's, that was kind of one of the things that,
it was kind of, when we took
Yeah.
the rocker arm cover off, that was the first thing we could get off.
oh, yeah.
And you know, you had about, I don't know, about 1.5 inches, maybe 1.25 inches of play between the rocker arm and the push rod. And immediately, you know, oh yeah, cam leg. When we got down further, it was a hit. Pre-flight wouldn't have found it.
Wouldn't have found it,
Good
yeah.
run up, everything's fine.
I may have seen the video that I've shown here about the Mooney, the engine quit on it, where he went all the way back and landed on the runway again. And in that case, it was the same type of situation where the head had it was a crack in it, I think is what it was. And again, it was never would have been found during a pre-flight. So, you know, you can do a good pre-flight but still miss it. I've seen it happen, you know, seen it happen with the 141. I've seen it happen with, you know, fighters too. Let's see. Anybody else? Jay, do you have anything, Sharon?
This isn't Aero Club related, but it might be interesting. I was in Jacksonville flying a 707 here a few weeks ago. And we have turbo compressors on top of the motors for augmenting air pressure inside the airplane. So one of them had seized in flight. We didn't have any indication, and it sheared the pipe that supplies air to the engine and into the fuselage. So when we landed, we go into reverse. What had happened was we have 2 sets of reversers. We have blocker doors on the front, they're actually plastic, but it's not heated air, so it doesn't matter. We have main doors in the back. So this thing had broken and melted one of these blocker doors. So it melted down the side of the engine.
Holy smokes.
And there was a bunch of metal parts laying on top of this melted plastic. So when we went in reverse, it blew it forward. We re-ingested it at high power to be destroyed. It's like somebody had, and it would have been fine had we known that, you know,
Yeah.
that was there, we wouldn't have done it. But
Yeah, but yeah, how
it was
was
like
you
somebody
gonna
had
know?
taken a big Dremel and just cut huge slots in all the blades. So, anyway, next time you seize up your TC on the T-34.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, if you really want to fly an airplane that's got some substance to it, the T-34 can be challenging as you move up, you know, in complex and all this. Okay, anybody else have anything to share? Okay, Bob, did you want to say anything real quick?
I just got a couple things in.
I mean, 30
I
minutes.
just-
No.
Real quick, had a council meeting on Thursday, so where does the club stand? Right now, we're looking at about $18,000 in the hole by the end of September. And people aren't real happy, but there's not much I can do. I've lost, in the last 4 months, it'll be almost 5 months with 2 engines out for 5.7 and the 182. The total loss of income is going to be about $15,000. I predicate that on previous monthly flying for those two aircraft. And then how does the club going to survive? Well, the only way we can survive is bring in more members into the club and put a little effort in to ensure that you're not going to fly once every 3 months, but try and fly monthly. The only way you can stay current is to fly more than 1 hour every 3 months. There's no way you can stay current by doing that. You have to take and fly continuously to stay current. I haven't flown in about 7 weeks. I was going to fly this weekend, and I've been sick. I'm real hesitant, and I'm very cautious on that first flight after being away, the same way when I was working with the airlines. I'd start reviewing about 3 days prior to going online again, and I'd always have the first officer take the first leg, just so I can get up to speed. So if you think you can come out and be up to speed after 3 months, then you're short of the 90-day program. There's no way that you'll ever be sufficient in regards to that.
Jerry says he'll come fly with you to get you here.
Yeah.
And he'll only charge you slightly more than the club rate.
I can afford it because I'm going to take money away from him with the Navy group. No, not really. We finished off our second school for ground school with the Navy. That's been very lucrative for us in regards to income to the club. There's one more class that looks like it'll be in the future. When that takes place, we're not sure. I suspect it'll be between now and the end of the year. And these individuals come in, they're all various rates. Enlisted individuals that work off of boats, travel around the world, and they use handheld SUAs. They're small model airplanes, basically, that are electric driven with cameras, and they're pretty quiet, and you've got about a 2-hour duration flight on it, so they kind of go out and search for pirates and etc.
Yeah, if you want to look it up on the web.
Yeah. The 182 engine install, we got some minor maintenance to do with an annual inspection that'll be completed. It'll be online. Hear that, Scott? There's a few other people who want to do that. It's going to be a good running engine, I hope so. 5.5's wing, we got some issues there with contracting. And then 5.7, we've got some more money appropriated, so we'll get the engine going on 5.7. Hopefully we can get the wing done before 5.7. The way we're going, we may get the engine before 5.55's wing is repaired. So we'll get back to our 3 airplanes because the base commander likes to see 4 of the T-34s flying. So if you have any ideas on how we can take and generate income to the club, whether it be memberships to the Civil Air Patrol, or I think it was Fred that brought it up that we ought to take and work on ground schools in the evening to open up to the outside. I'm willing to accept anything you can give me so we can try and keep this club going.
Okay. We have a semi-guest speaker. He is a member of the club. But he's going to help us out here, and he's going to do, I think you're going to enjoy it. It's a good safety briefing, and it's a little bit different. Darren Thompson, he's been a member of the club for a while. But he just doesn't ever show up here, you know. But now all of a sudden he's going to show up, and this is what I do when people don't show up, is I make them do a safety briefing. So, Darren?
All right. Thank you very much, Roger.
And I'll keep my eye on this thing about if the sound comes up.
I've been paying my dues the entire time. So since '09. I want to talk to you tonight about laser strikes. Anyone had a laser strike, indirect or direct, inside the cockpit? Anyone else? Okay. Hopefully, I looked at some of the previous safety meetings on YouTube, and I didn't see anything on this. So hopefully, this will be something interesting for you, and we'll be able to hopefully have some good conversations going. So I'll talk about, tell you a little bit about myself real quick, and then talk about the threats that are going on with the lasers and some of the laws with federal laws, California laws, some good stuff is happening there. Medical issues, There's one incident I'll talk about at the Glendale Police Department, and talk about some recommendations, and then we'll conclude. There is a 10-minute video. Hopefully this won't last too long, maybe 20 total, but we'll see if the video will last, will work rather. So my background, Air Force, a little bit Air Force, 79 years as air traffic controller. I was dual rated tower and RAPCON. Got serious, got my degree through Embry-Riddle, and wanted to be on the other side of the microphone, so I called the Air Force up and said, hey, I want to fly for you. They said, you're too old. I was 29 and a half, and bad eyes, so called the Navy up and they said, come on over. So went to the Navy. I was an instructor, ended up being an instructor tactical coordinator, like WIZO, mission commander. I was the aircraft maintenance officer, department head, and did 17 years in the Navy, so a little over 26 years total. Retired 1 January, 31 December 07, 1 January 08, and I started working at Martin Luther King High School. Anyone have any kids in Martin Luther King High School up in Riverside? Okay, I did the junior ROTC program there for 5 years, and then kind of just got tired of that and wanted to get back into the aviation business. And so since February, I haven't done anything. I grew a little bit. My wife talked me into getting an earring, and I'm trying to perfect my golf game. No luck there. So I said, man, the Aero Club. You know, I started in 09, and I had a couple flights. I think it was Brandon, and it was time to get my third class, and couldn't get it. I was medically disqualified because I'm a cancer survivor, prostate cancer, 7 years clear now, so I'm good. But also high blood pressure, and thank you. Also high blood pressure, and it just cannot get that under control yet. So if anyone knows a good doctor, please let me know, because I'm ready. I have the time. You know, fully retired. I just want to get back to flying. I'm envious of you guys. I want to get back into it. And so what I'm doing now, I volunteer my time. I talk to Bob and Roger, say, hey, what can I do to help out? And Roger said, hey, I can use some help with the safety stuff. So I'll be around. I'm taking some classes right now at USC, the Aviation Security and Safety Program. Anyone been part of that or taking any classes there? So I'm doing that drive on 91 every day. It's horrible. But I'm here now. So I'm currently at USC doing my thing there. I got another month to go. 16 October, I'll finish up, get my certification there. All right, lasers. Anyone remember that acronym there? Light amplification, simulated emissions, and radiation. If any questions, please go ahead and feel free to ask, or if you have any experiences that you can input, make sure you please step up and do that. So lasers are measured in nanometers, 1/1000th of a meter. So if you take a meter and break it up in a billion parts, one of those is a nanometer. Monochromatic, coherent, so just typically just one color is what they're saying here. A very focused laser, and so we'll talk about it now. Typically you see the green, the red, and the purple lasers, and we'll talk about each one of those. Talk about some of the hazards that the lasers will pose, and then talks down here about the visible spectrum, so the 400 nanometers to 750. Some of you in front may not be able to see that. Yes, sir.
What does coherent and collimated mean?
Okay, good questions there. Again, monochromatic is just talking about one color, and the coherent is saying the focus is all together. It's all consistent. And then the culminated is it's a focused straight line, very little spreading going on. So as you can see the beam, it's just straight out there. Okay, very focused. People talk about, laser focus. So, any other questions on that? All right. Can the lights be dimmed a little bit more? Anyone have that? Just a little bit. This is going to show just what it will look like. We have some 737 drivers, 707 drivers, or whatever, and C-17s. So this mainly is going to be focused on the commercial guys and the helicopters, but it's definitely relevant for what you do here. This is just showing what the laser is going to look like on approach. That's at the 5 milliwatts, the green laser, 3,000 feet away, as you can see up there. And what is simulate what it looked like. This is in a 737 simulator. And as you get a little bit closer, that's what it's looking like. And then eventually, you really probably can't land well with that, huh? That's illuminating your cockpit. I'm hoping this video is going to play. It's about 10 minutes long. We'll see, and give you a little more instruction.
Video play. We just hope we have sound.
Oh, sound, yeah.
we
See
did
what
have
happens here.
sound,
If not, we'll just move on. Yeah.
I don't know when it starts, when the sound starts, but
I hear it now.
yeah, it's coming out of your computer now.
Yeah, are there any, any other?
Is that, Jerry, do you know what they did to get this thing to work with you guys?
Never got it to work.
Never got it.
Oh, it never did? Oh, somebody told me it did work. Oh,
You did have
gee.
sound initially, and then it.
Okay, I
Okay, so
suppose.
you get shorter briefing then, no problem. So we'll skip through that.
Well,
Basically,
you
it's
can
just
hear
short.
it, I mean, they did, but they can't hear it in the back probably. I have no idea why the sound does not come out through these speakers. We did everything we could possibly do to get the sound. And it just, and there's nobody in the building that knows how it works.
All right.
There's one switch on there.
Yeah, it was,
Okay.
yeah,
Probably don't need to
okay.
worry about it.
Okay.
We'll just skip through that. It'll be
Yeah.
shorter brief.
Sorry about that, but
Get going.
Until
No
we
problem.
get
We'll get
somebody
it
that
fixed
knows
for,
how the system works.
We'll get it going for next time.
Amplifier on it, Roger?
What's that?
Should be an amplifier down there.
Yeah, there is, but we
Can you
have
put
touched
your computer
every
on
button
speaker?
on that thing.
Or-
every
Yes,
button.
it's ready to go.
Never been
It's
able
just
to
not
get the
connected
sound
here. I
out.
thought it'd be a
We had the
separate
problem this last
connection
week
for it,
with the
but
Navy
it doesn't look
guys,
like it.
too.
Yeah.
We never could get, nobody in the building that knows how to operate is here. They're gone. They're in Iraq right now. Or in-
No worry, we'll just keep on going here. And now if you take a look at, this is the different incidents of laser strikes, I call them strikes, in the United States here. So 2005, 283, and then last year, just almost 3,500 strikes that were reported. There's many, as you know, that don't go reported, so 13, almost 13-time increase, a little over 1,000% increase in laser strikes there.
And that's all on aircraft, huh?
Yes, and fixed wing and rotor. Yep. These all reports to FAA. This FAA source. Yes, sir.
It's probably gonna be a dumb question, but like, Jimmy, kids just playing around?
Yeah, just idiots. Kids, you know, a lot of kids. We'll talk a little bit about what they're using in a second here. But yeah, pretty much just the kids here. So here's the top, you know, if you look at the top 20, top 5, we'll go with that, areas that are being the most reported. I was really surprised to see that Phoenix was number 1, and if you look at number 5 there, LA there, 88 for the laser strikes. Everybody can look at the other ones there.
San Diego too.
Yeah, San Diego down there is probably your local, not outside your local area, but certainly go down there and do your thing here. So here's one of the lasers that they're using out there. Typically, this is used for spotting stars. Okay, so it has it actually, you plug it into your computer. It has a it can rotate and a GPS device. You can put in coordinates and find different stars. But they're using it to also locate aircraft. And if you read that, this is serious. This came off the website right here. Sorry in your way, Roger, but the Sears Aircraft Enthusiast Board using your advanced green laser for traditional spreadsheet pointing techniques. Why not kick up your skills a notch and start using green lasers to track aircraft? With beams visible in daylight that extend for miles, green lasers are ideally suited to track objects in the sky. Stop worrying about things like mandatory jail time and social isolation and play the intriguing game of SkyTag today. So that's really off of that website, SkyTag.
That's actually awesome.
Yes, if you Google SkyTag or Bing, whatever you use, you'll find that. It's ridiculous. And so,
They be prosecuted or something like that?
I don't think so. But I will talk about a case that was prosecuted. Now on the bottom here, it talks about that beam is visible to the naked eye up to 22 miles, even in daylight conditions. So this is serious stuff out there, and they're affordable, they're cheap, you know. So and they're, you know, get them on eBay, and kids are doing it. Kids are doing it. They think it's a game, and the helicopters are really having a hard time. The law enforcement are really having a hard time out there with these.
Now, those little lasers like what you got, you can't get out that far to hurt, can you?
You know, I'm not sure how far this one goes, but this is a typical, you know, pointer This is, we'll talk about the classes in a little bit of the laser. This is a class 2, and so it can do some damage if you stare at it or get directly. It'll cause you, momentary blindness and all that. But
They will reach out from airplanes.
okay.
I've seen the handheld pointer like that,
Uh-huh.
flying, and the laser comes up, you can see it hitting an airplane.
Yeah, so it's bad. So the FDA recognizes that there are 4 different classes of lasers, 1 through 4 there. The higher the class, the more powerful the laser will be. And we'll talk about those here in a second. I don't know if everyone can see that with the lights. But again, this one right here is a 2. And you look on the back, there is a warning on here about not looking directly into the laser. So you have to watch out for that. So even kids in high school or in class, with these lasers pointing at each other can be an issue. So each one of the classes have a definition and the associated hazard to them. Any questions on that at all?
So which class is it that start pointing?
5. 5. They have different powers, and that particular one's a 5 milliwatts, so it can do some real damage actually. Okay, here's what the law says. Okay, pointers that are less than 5 milliwatts are legal, except in some of the U.S. cities. So in New Jersey, the boardwalk, they're not legal there. I think they have a lot of low flying. Anyone from that area on the boardwalk that burned down, unfortunately, not too long ago. But I think they have a lot of low flying airplanes and helicopters for the sightseeing and tours and all that kind of stuff. So as far as I know, New Jersey, from my research, is the only U.S. city that does not allow the lasers less than 5 milliwatts. FDA requires a switch interlocking system. Even on here has a switch before you can activate it. I can't just point it. You have to actually have a switch to get this one activated. I'm just going to skip down through here. Okay, Securing the Aircraft Against Lasers Act, 2011, that's going to make it a felony. That is actually in force now, and we're going to talk about a case in a little bit here in a couple slides. And then talks about it, the maximum fine right now, penalty, is 5 years and $11,000 per violation if you get caught or anyone gets caught with that. So when I was at USC, I was taking the aviation safety course, security course first, and one of the briefers there was Scott Robeson. He's a lieutenant at the Glendale Police Department, and he was telling me that one of the tactics that they're using now, I don't know if you can see this guy with the laser on the bottom, but you know how the helicopters have the spotlight? Well, they have now, some of the helicopters, they have a way that they can laze a different area, point to a different area, and the patrol cars and other police aircraft can see that and pinpoint exactly where that person is lighting them up at. So they'll turn the spotlight over here while they're lazing over there, and so the individual thinks you're looking over this way when they actually got you right there. So that's one of the new techniques they have, tactics that they're using now, so it's pretty good. They did just recently prosecute I think he was a 19-year-old, and they got the maximum on that guy. So it is, the law's working, and thankfully, because we're seeing more and more of these laser incidents happen, so it's really good. Here's the California Penal Code on it. Any person who willfully or maliciously discharges a laser at an aircraft, whether in motion or in flight, while occupied, is guilty of a violation of this section, which shall be punishable as either a misdemeanor or by imprisonment. And it just goes on again, you can read that, but talking about how much the fine will be, and a maximum of 16 months there, 2 years, or 3 years, depending on what the judge is going to give them. Yes?
They couldn't use the law about interfering with flight?
You're talking about the FAA?
Right.
Yes, they can get on both, but specifically now, California has adopted this from the FAA law that's going on too. I don't know if they can get the greater of whatever charge. Yeah, but I know that Glendale has already prosecuted one individual, 19-year-old, and he's in jail. He's like 30 months. Yeah, 30 months I think it was.
Wow.
So that's a good thing. Things are happening right there. Now, I'm not sure the maker of these goggles, but I did get a chance to put a pair on in class, and what it will do is absolutely block the laser beam from going through. So, you know, we put the goggles on, shine the laser up or shine it through, and you can see it on the wall, but with those goggles in front of it, you will not see that laser beam. So a lot of the police, helicopter, law enforcement folks are using these pair of goggles right now, and also when they fly with their helmets. So this is one way of great eye protection for them. We're almost finished, actually. Okay, some of the physiological effects, and then this is from the Civil Aerospace Medical Institute, CAMI. Glare, when an object is in the field of vision, appears obscured by a bright light located near the same line of sight. Flash blindness, which will give you a temporary loss of vision. That can happen with this pointer right here. So if you were to stare at this for a second, you're going to get that temporary loss of vision. And then the after image, when you get the temporary image in the visual field, much like spotlight you see after a camera flash. So you get that flash, you're still seeing that after image going on. So that's what some of the damage that the laser can do to you. A few more here. So if you were to get lit up by a laser, it's showing that you should anticipate having that. Most of the attacks are occurring between 7 and 10 p.m., 2200, and at between 2,000 and 10,000 AGL above the ground there. So typically, again, this is more geared towards the commercial guys and the military and the law enforcement helicopters, but it certainly can affect you too. You just never know. It may not happen here in March, but it might happen at another airfield that you fly into. So please look out for that. So if it does happen to you, you're flying solo, don't have your co-pilot with you, or if you do, pilot in controls, maintain the aviate, navigate, communicate as best you can. If you're by yourself, planes don't have autopilot, but I know the C-17s do and the 707 do. You got to maybe engage that autopilot if it's not already engaged, and do what you can to you can get your eyesight back. And do the handoff. You have the aircraft, I have the radios, or something like that. Any questions on this? Here's some other recommendations. Turn up your backlight, cockpit lighting, okay, to minimize the further effects of the your eyesight deteriorating. Again, delegate your control of the aircraft. Try to shield your eyes if you can. Sometimes you might just see the laser off to the side or something. It's not directly hitting you, so make sure you shield it in some kind of way to make sure that you're not getting direct hit in the eyes there. If you were to get a straight shot right into the eyes, it says not to rub them because it's burning that cornea. You don't want it, irritate it any further. And then make sure you get evaluated once you get on the ground. Okay. Here's how you report it. FAA advisory circular. They want you to have it in this format right here. So your name, the date, and the aircraft, exactly the location where it happened, what color was the laser, was it a red one, was it a green one, was it a blue one? Blue is the worst one, in fact. And then any injuries. And I don't know if you guys in the back can see on the bottom there, but there's an app for that too. So you can report it via your mobile phone as well. I think we're about finished here. Too bad we couldn't get the video because it really was a good detail on what was going on here. So just finalizing and concluding on here, make sure that you're aware that this could happen to you. Don't be in a point where you think, well, I'm in a safe environment flying around the local area here. You just never know what's going to happen. I don't know how many night flights that you guys do, but certainly it can happen in the daytime as well. Why is this happening? Why are we seeing an increase? Because they're cheap. Okay, kids are getting their hands on this. They're on the internet all the time. They can pick them up. You can get a pointer for $1. So And that sky tag, I think that's like $50 or something. So that's affordable for even for teenagers. So watch out for that. We have to stay aware. Doing briefings like this, talk about it, talk to each other if you have any kind of laser strikes or anything, and then make sure that you let law enforcement know you reported to the FAA, and make sure that when you do, or if you do, see anything like that going on, that it's getting reported. Okay. Any other questions on that? I think we're about finished. Yes, sir.
Are those goggles multi-wavelength or single wavelength?
I'm not sure. Anyone know? Yep.
Yeah, I worked for lasers for like 20 years with the Wall Street Journal, and they do come in different ranges. So you might be using something that's in a lower range, and then get hit with something that's at a higher range. And I want to add, if you get hit directly in the eye, it's like taking a 2x4 hit in the back of the head. Because the minute that it hits your eye, the muscles in your eye instantly contract in the back, and it forces all your muscles to concentrate into that beam. So it's quite painful when it happens. So, and then we use goggles for calibration of the lasers that we use.
Well, yeah,
and
I know those exist. I just didn't know we had.
They're expensive and they're different ranges too.
Used at night that would block through.
A lot of light too.
I mean, if you could see through.
And you can. Yeah, you can imagine the law enforcement. Typically, they have either a second pilot or an observer, and what do they have? Binoculars, and getting hit with a laser. So it's really devastating to them. Carl, you want to share your story?
Mike might know more about this than your Mike's our practice officer. But there's, yeah, we use those glasses also in the Air Force, but they don't cover all the wavelengths, and like it says about this, they definitely won't protect you 100% of the time. And there's some, you're talking about a lot of lasers you can get just off the internet or down the store, but people are also now getting hold of illegal weaponized type lasers, and they're using those more and more. And definitely those goggles or those glasses are not going to help you. They're even the military expensive on being, don't give you 100% protection. I don't know if you want to add anything on that there, Mike.
I mean, what he's talking about is we call them ALIPs, air crude laser eye protection. It's just we wear those glasses. We wore them a lot in Kuwait before we got lasers. We wear MVGs now, which makes it really hard for the lasers to affect us. So we don't wear them as much anymore because we're a lot of MVGs. But you were talking about the price a little bit. But what guys use a lot of times is a spotting scope. When I got a brief on this a few years ago, they use a star spotting scope, and those run about $2,000 for a really high-end one. The weaponized lasers that Colonel Lynn was talking about is not used. There's been no proof that anybody's actually used a weaponized laser to try and take down an aircraft. But they've got these spotting scope lasers that if you shine it on the wall right there and you're not looking at the laser, it'll actually hurt your eyes just from seeing the sparkle that comes off the wall. That's how strong that thing is. So if the laser actually impacted your eyes, it would be pretty devastating. So it's the biggest thing that we talk about tactics-wise is just bring your eyes inside. If you ever have that issue, that natural reaction is going to be to look outside. Just bring your eyes inside, stare at your instruments, close your eyes, whatever you need to do to get away from looking at it is the important thing.
Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, let me add from the safety side also. I get asked a lot of those questions if you get safety officer in water. The main thing is this basically it's a crime when somebody uses laser, not necessarily a safety incident. The most important thing is report it right away to ATC. You mentioned that thing, but get the word out there. You're going to fill out the forms and get on the ground, but talk to ATC right away, let them know, and they'll ask you a lot of the pertinent questions. What they want to do is they're going to quarantine that area where you're at to keep other people from flying to there, and the same thing happens to them. That's why you want to get them on the radio. And if there's law enforcement in the area, like a helicopter or whatever, they'll let them know, and they'll come looking for the guy with the laser to try to arrest them. So make sure you get that on the radio. Second is, because you guys are basically flying under the Air Force program, if you do get hurt or it affects you somehow, something breaks or whatever it is, reason, I need to know about it. Please let the safety office know about it so we can look into it, do an investigation. Otherwise, it's just a crime.
Thanks for sharing that. Okay, that is it. Hopefully, you're going to be a little more aware of it out there. Because don't be at a point where you say it's not gonna happen to me. You just never know until it does, right? So keep that in mind. All right, thank you very much.
We get special Aero Club prices on the SkyTrack.
Yeah, thank you, Darren, that's good. Sorry about the video not playing, but now everybody that knows how to run the system are flying. And one of which is out gone for 30 days, so he's not going to be back for a while. So it's kind of like, okay, you know, let's see, the next meeting's the 15th of October. It seems like it's getting shorter and shorter.
We want to try a flyaway too.
Yeah, Bob said we're going to try to do a flyaway in October, or sometimes
at the end of September.
at the end of September. Okay, so we can figure out
Yeah,
where
we're
we're
looking
going
at
to
the
go.
28th.
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 Okay, on the 28th, a flyaway. So if you're interested in doing that, for those of you who are new, a flyaway basically is what we do is we kind of meet together at the Aero Club around 8 o'clock in the morning or so, and find out just how many people are going to fly. Usually the T-34s, the guys usually take the T-34s if you can fly in the back seat with one of them, especially fly with George. George's fun to fly with. Yeah, well, it kind of, yeah, it does scare some people, but.
Fred doesn't bother Fred.
No, Fred doesn't. Yeah, nothing bothers Fred anymore. And so, you know, come on out and on the 28th, and we'll do a little more advertising of it through the email system. And have a $100 hamburger. Actually, it's going up to $200 hamburgers now, so a little more expensive. Any other questions? Any other discussions? If not, that's all I can think of right now. Yeah. Okay. 15th next month. Come on out and fly.
Hey, and Roger, you know I got sound stuff. If you know we're going to do sound,